our families and in our communities, we are supposed to also live in units. So that is called a hame. So I'll try my best to explain it in Ewe. So, wow, I haven't done this on TV before speaking Ewe, but we will do something. So, Mao wa mi be mi no hame ya ta mi ko mi ape fumel pli mi ape lonho tane edibe adoa down there 11 na yi amechichi obone now afodo fe ni natanwa awo woche wopenusiano. So that basically means that when we are in our families or we have people around us and we want to take any decisions, we go to the elders, seek some advice and some counsel to be able to do whatever we need to do without making too many mistakes. And of course, as we know, they are ahead of us, so they've already seen what we think we are going to do even before we do it. And this is what we have for you, telling you that two heads are always better than one. Whether it is from someone older or from a friend, you always need to seek the opinion of others before you take decisions. welcome back to the Cocoa Digest Morning Show. If you're just tuning in, this is the Cocoa Digest Morning Show, and we're about to have our online news review with two of my co-hosts here with me in the persons Edna Boateng and Peter Insia. Good morning, my lady and gentlemen.
Good morning, Yaira.
I hope we're well.
You're doing well.
Asking where to.
Oh no. Hey.
Yes.
Whatever you say.
Me for.
Hey.
Devio.
Hey.
Umeto Fufo Dadao.
Hey.
So you say Amesia Mefon. Yes, Amesia Mefon. That means everybody is fine.
Oh, that's nice.
Yes. So it's time for our online news review, and as Edna's motivational quote for Etikro Enko Ejina, right? Did I get it right?
Etikro head does not hold counsel.
So as we're about to discuss our news today, we will be doing that as three people, three heads better than one, of course. So what's in today, Edna? Entertainment lady.
Over the weekend, the artists of the year.
Okay.
Let me list them. We have Kweku Smoke, Team Eternity, Joe Metal, Ken Paluta, Ken Promise, Stonebwoy, and Black Sheriff.
Oh, okay. So they are the nominees.
Yeah, but then Joe Metal, which of his songs? Because for some time now, I haven't been hearing lots about him. Peter?
Well, maybe his songs have been still running, so maybe he's given a chance
I mean,
again.
we've been seeing what Team Eternity, the group is doing. But then, okay, so what do you think? Or who do you want to win?
Yeah, well, I think maybe Black Sheriff deserves, because he's been out there, he's been doing a lot.
Yeah, you are not being fair here.
Why
Honestly,
not?
last year it was between Ken Promise and Stonebwoy. So at
Okay.
least if Stonebwoy took it, I'm rooting for Ken Promise.
Yeah, rooting for King Promise. What about you?
Rooting for Ken Paluta.
I knew it. I knew it.
You should see our cameraman here. Oh wow! So I'm rooting for Black Sheriff. Okay, no, let me go gospel for Mimi. So Team Eternity, right? Yes, they're definitely. I mean, they've done so well with that song. It's been very catchy too. Okay, so Peter, what do you also have for us?
Okay, so over the weekend, a lot transpired. Talking about the overhaul in the security service. The most talked about is the IGP.
Okay.
Yes, so a new IGP is in town. That's IGP Yohunu.
Yeah.
Yeah, so a lot of people have been talking that when the announcement came, most people, especially within the police service, they were jubilating. So I was asking myself why. This also takes me back to primary 6, where our class madam, anytime we litter the classroom, she tells us to clean up the place. And then anytime you feel reluctant to do that, you say, okay, so you want to litter your classroom, and when you're going out, you want to dress gentle. So you used to say, outside gentility, home cry. So I don't want to believe that, in the eyes of civilians, Dan Parry has really done well in terms of resources, a lot has been done compared to before he was appointed as the IGP, a lot of crimes and a whole lot. But right now we can say that things are calm. But for the people within the service to jubilate over, his removal, it's kind of questionable. And so it's just a question that I'm asking. We are here to find the answer. And also, he's not up to the retirement age. He's 59. And so is he going to remain in the service? And if he's going to remain in the service, is he going to revert back to his previous rank, that is the COP? And so we are just waiting. And then also the OSP versus Ken Ofori-Atta. We just heard that the Ken Ofori-Atta has filed a lawsuit against the OSP. In this country, I don't know what is going on. We were here when we were told that the Ken Ofori-Atta is in town and is having engagement with the OSP. Yeah. Only for us to hear that Ken Ofori-Atta has filed a lawsuit against OSP. And then the OSP in return has given him from now to the 2nd of June to appear, else his name will go back to the wanted list. I think, in my opinion, the OSP has given Ken Ofori-Atta enough time to avail himself for all the questioning. If he thinks that he's not guilty of any of the allegations leveled against him, he should avail himself for further, interrogation. And so this reminds me of what he told me, that you need to know the law to break the law. Right now, he's hiding under some rule of law to, find a way to keep himself wherever he had to. You know, it's just about accountability. Just calm down, answer 1 or 2 questions, and we move on. So
Yeah.
I urge the OSP to also, you know, tighten his belt, to do the needful, and get him down to the country to do the
So
needful.
on the issue of the IGP, I think right after, you know, you are taken from that position, you go into retirement. So maybe he's just retiring 1 year early. Yes. But with the OSP too, there were people that were also talking about the fact that he seems to be a little more aggressive than usual, and we should be careful not to let his emotions or, you know, the need to sort of make the previous government pay for their crimes in court, so that, you know, because sometimes when you may tend to make certain decisions that if you don't take care, you may regret them. So I think that's also there, because I remember seeing something about Ken Ofori traumatized because of how they've handled his issue and things like that. And, you know, some people were commenting that the economy has traumatized the citizens more than any trauma he has experienced. So he should be quiet.
Very true.
Yes. And even with Dampare too, of course, you cannot get one person that everybody loves. There will definitely be people that are not exactly happy with you. I remember seeing even a few colleagues of mine mention the fact that the handling of the protesters with the Democracy Hub protesters, the End Galamsey now, the way they were handled left a bitter taste in their mouths towards the IGP. And I mean, people were detained. People are also saying it was unlawful, and there's a whole lot around that could make a lot of people who previously liked Dampare to sort of become a little less in love with him. So we hope that his successor would also, do very well and, you know, come and do better.
Sure.
Yeah. So do you guys also have your graphic, your digital newspapers today? Okay.
No.
Then let's go.
But in the world of business,
Yes, our businessman.
some transport fares increased by 20% as private sites, soaring cost. And also government exceed T-bill targets by 514 million Ghana cedis. And so these and many more is what I'll be talking about on the business segment.
Okay, so we look forward to that. I'm very interested in the transport fares because we just heard about a 10% increment in our salaries, and now transport fare is coming to take it. So let's go quickly into the online news. And the first story is about customs. So this one says customs intercepts the 20 million Ghana cedis worth of opioids at Tema Port. And it says Ghana Customs Division has made a massive seizure of opioid drugs worth approximately 20 million Ghana cedis at the Tema Port. The intercepted container destined for contained a large quantity of various opioid medications, including Rahol-Tapentadol, that is 250 milligrams in 26 cartons, Tafradol-Tapentadol, which is 120 milligrams and 160 cartons, and we have Timaking-Tapentadol, 120 milligrams, 40 cartons, Loperamide, 2 milligrams, 190 cartons, and these science words. Chlorpheniramine maleate, which is 230 cartons. And the Minister of Health, Kwabena Minta Akando, has also assured that the government is committed to preventing Ghana from being used as a transit point for opioid trafficking. Now, to achieve this, authorities have pledged to tighten the regulations and enforce monitoring to curb the illicit drug shipments through Ghana's ports. And this reminds me of even the new trend, red.
Red. It's trending all over TikTok.
Yes.
And it's sad to watch because some are from SHS, a lot of the youth are taking this Union Red. And it's doing more harm than good to them. Of
course, it's being abused, so it will definitely do more harm. And apparently, even the red they are talking about, I think it is, from what I saw, it was about, I think tramadol, but in about 200 and something, 20 milligrams. And it has not been approved by the FDA. It is not what we are supposed to even be taking. It's not something that's prescribed. Doctors will not prescribe that much for you. So taking that quantity gives them that high, and, just like drug abuse, we know how it is. And it begs the question that what is happening to our youth?
This is very serious, and my question is, do we understand the effect of these drugs? Anytime I see that thing on social media, I ask myself, a colleague asks me, "Unim red?" And I ask, "What red?" I don't know what you're talking about, but it is all over social media, like you said. Yeah. What you see is a young, handsome dude or damsel, you know, in a way feeling drowsy, like. I don't know. It's kind of funny, but it's very serious. So I would like to commend the Ghana Customs Service for a very good job done, and also I also plead that it shouldn't end there. Immediately, an investigation should be launched into it to find the root, the origin of and
how they are even distributing this.
Exactly.
Because I've seen videos where I remember seeing a video where somebody had taken one of these opioids and was so high that. I don't know. I couldn't finish watching it, but there was a bowl of boiling soup, and the person was so high, just so close into. I couldn't watch. I didn't want to see the person's face in the boiling soup. And if this is what's happening to our youth, then where are we going?
So there was a time where the tramadol was being abused, and then it went.
Yes.
And then it came to Benylin. I think Benylin. It's a cough mixture.
Yeah.
Yeah. They mix it with. I think super glue. Then they'll sniff it. Yeah, it makes them high. Yeah, they do a lot with super glues. I don't know what causes that. But then this opioids, this Unim red thing, I think it's a pain reliever.
Yeah.
Yeah, and also it is causing more harm. I think the measures put in place will really help because our youth are losing it, and then it's not being helpful at all. Also, it sedates you. It makes you feel so down, so slow. Yes. I don't know how the feeling is, but I think it's very nice because looking at the fact that they are taking it, honestly, looking at the fact that they are taking it and then they are abusing it, you'll be in town. Especially the mates, they take it and one now year off and you understand me? At that time, their mind is somewhere. I think they are in cloud 9 or something. They don't not know what happens. And then I'm so afraid of the thieves, especially when someone takes this and then the person is on you with a knife. I'm not sure you would survive it because he's seeing you like an ant. You see?
That's true.
So bad.
And, you know, with these opioids, the little I know is that they are given to people who have just undergone surgery, major surgeries, for pain relief. Because, you know, having maybe an open heart surgery, when you are done, or even, you know, childbirth, something like that, you need some medication to be able to relieve the pain. And even some people need to be sedated because the pain is too much. But there's nothing happening to you and you're on these drugs.
I think it's peer pressure. Because looking at the fact that our youth are now in a certain trend and anything that happens and then we are so happy about it, someone may want to get involved with it. And it's highly accessible. Are they selling it somewhere and then some particular type of people are just going there to get it or something like that? I can't tell, but we have to do some sort of awareness because we, the youth, do not even know what it entails. When you're reading, I realize that there are some chemicals used to make it, but then I go to the pharmacy and buy this Unim red stuff without knowing, with no prescription, and then I take it and immediately I start feeling slow and acting all up. It's so bad.
I also don't believe that it's even sold in the pharmacies because it is not approved. The dosage, the about 200 and something milligrams for the red, is not approved by the FDA. So I don't think it's accessible in the pharmacies. So
where did they get it from?
I mean, Ghana was being used as a transit point to send this much opioids to Niger. So of course there are definitely people out here smuggling it.
So if it is not helping with the youth, why is it being sent to Niger? So it is going to kill them more.
It is also just like the youth here are using it to get high and do all kinds of things. I'm sure the youth in Niger are also, you know, involved in substance use.
You know, this calls for national security concern. This is very serious. It's a very serious matter. Like we're saying, you know, one problem we have as Ghanaians is law enforcement. We implement all the laws, but when it comes to enforcing them, we
that's where the problem
out.
Is.
And then the fact is that this thing, in 2020, the Narcotics Control Board also reported the abuse of these opioid drugs. and as it stands now, we are still fighting it. I don't want to link it to the fight of Galamsey because there are a lot of regulations set in to sanction people and all that, but the law enforcement has become the problem. And like you rightly said, these drugs are not being approved by FDO. So where are they coming from? You understand?
They are being smuggled.
Yes.
Illegal.
And then according to the Health Minister, Kwabena Minta Akando, the only designate place for the importation of drugs is the Tema Harbour and then Kotoka International Airports. So apart from these two places, wherever drugs come from are illicit, illegal, and that we should, desist from that. And then he also called on citizens to also help in investigation to find out how, where these drugs are coming from. It is very serious. And also, I also think that as the youth have taken as a trend on the various social media handles, winning red, I think they should rather educate people on the effect of it. And, yes, they should rather educate people on the effect of it to help, put an end to this thing.
Well, not to sound like I want to defend them, but I remember one of the conversations with one of our guests on mental health on the main discussion some months back. It was also about, mental health issues. Look at the poverty rates, unemployment rates.
Anxiety.
Yes, all these mental health problems could also be a contributing factor because the person may feel like if I'm sober, I'll be thinking about my problems and it will ruin my mood. It will start making me desperate to go and I don't want to rather go and steal. So let me just some substances, take my mind into cloud nine, as you mentioned, and then, prevent me from doing something bad or relieve myself of the pain and, all the suffering about concerning poverty and unemployment and things like this.
I mean, I won't also blame them because right now, taking care of your mental health has become so expensive. Someone will go under therapy or counseling. It's so expensive. So they're just taking something to relieve their depression or anxiety and then they'll be free. But then what is the aftermath? Afterwards, what
happens? Is it even worth it?
It's not worth it. Yeah.
That's true. Well, we hope that the Ministry of Health and, of course, the customs officers too will be on guard. And one more thing that came to mind was, you see, sometimes in the public transport, there are people, or even in the markets, there are people holding all kinds of medications and selling them. This medication will do this for you if you want Diwema. Where do these people get these medications? Are they also even approved by the FDA? Because that could also give us a link to where these drugs could be coming from.
Sometimes all the drugs they are selling is expired because looking at the fact that pharmacies are licensed and then I think even if you go to the pharmacy and then you buy something and it has expired, you can return it or you can return it. But these people are just carrying it on their head. Bet you if you go there, me patch or me, they can give you a painkiller. They have no informative something about pharmacies or anything about medicine. So these people are also a cause of it. But then I don't think that they are responsible for the selling of these William Red.
No, I'm not saying that. I'm trying to link to the fact that these people are licensed pharmacists, but they have access to medications that are supposed to be bought off the counter. So where are they getting these medications from to come and sell in the market? That is the way we can also trace to find where this William Red is also coming from.
So that's why I'm calling on the Ministry of Health to immediately launch an investigation. There's definitely a loophole somewhere, corruption somewhere. There are people behind this because even if, yes, the drugs were not meant for this, Ghana wasn't the intended final destination. Niger is just close here. And then we have these people from Niger trooping into our country, like rightly said, selling all these drugs. And this one reminds me with an experience with one of them at Medina Market. So this guy came to me and was talking, I asked, so final, like in summary, what actual disease does your medicine cure? She was just
it cures more than 50
diseases. It's serious.
It cures depression. It cures spiritual attacks.
So we are calling on FDA. FDA, they should be up and working. They should be up and working because what is going on is very bad. It's very, very bad. It's very bad.
Yeah. Okay, so as we said, we are hoping that they are on guard. And, it could also be a source of investment for people. Because knowing that, okay, this is the a youth and I have some money, I feel like, okay, let me go and smuggle this drug, sell to these people, I'll make some returns.
Really
so they have to look at all the angles of this to be able to settle this issue as soon as possible, because it will now lead to liver, kidney diseases. It's a chain reaction. And I mean, we don't even have enough time to go into that. Let's go to the next story. So this one says, let's review free SHS and let those who can pay. This is from the Otumfuo Osei Tutu urging the government. So the Asantehene Otumfuo Osei Tutu II is urging the government to review the free senior high school policy, suggesting that families who can afford to pay for their children's education should be allowed to do so, while the government's support is directed towards brilliant but needy students. He expressed concerns about the policy's current shortcomings, including overcrowded dormitories, lack of science and ICT labs, food shortages, and insufficient school buses. Otumfuo Osei Tutu II emphasized the need for effective and sustainable implementation to ensure benefits from the program. Now, the Asantehene also proposed a mixed system of support where those who can afford to pay are allowed to do so, while the government funding focuses on students who truly need help. Now, this approach, he believes, would ensure that resources are allocated efficiently and that students who are required financial support would receive it. So, yes, I also agree, because a lot of strain is on the government to take care of a very large number of students, as opposed to back in the day where it was based on those who can pay who would send their awards. But I don't particularly agree with the brilliant but needy, because every child has a right to education, whether you are brilliant or not. I mean, some students are even dyslexic. All of those things will be discovered, and then they'll be given the needed attention and the rest. And I mean, what he's saying is true, because there are parents who can pay and they even complain that, I can give my child money, I can give them provisions, and they are here eating very unhealthy food. It's not even enough, so they are not getting the nutrients they need. What do you guys also think?
Well, free SHS has been very beneficial, looking at the fact that it has increased enrollment, it has lessened the financial burden of families. But then I think free SHS, if I am a parent, and in as much as I may want to pay my child's school fees, if she is equally enjoying all the benefits from someone who is getting it for free, I would also opt to be a free SHS for my child, because one, they are getting the same quality of education, they are eating the same food. Instead, maybe the money that I will use to pay the fees, I can pay a teacher to give my ward a separate classes. You understand? During SHS, we used to have separate classes with our teachers, especially maths and science, or maybe English or some electives. So looking at this, I think in as much as I may, if I was to be a parent, in as much as I may want to pay for my ward, I'll use that to invest into a separate serious classes for my ward.
But don't you think that when some parents, the people who can afford it, are allowed to pay, then if, let's say, it's 50% of the student population, now that 50% has become ease for the government. So that money that would have been stretched thin can now accommodate what they are doing, and then it would even give the quality of education, it will make it even increase. What don't you think that would also work?
Most parents want to pay, and then when it comes to a decision, they decide to send their award to a private SHS. So if someone is in a public SHS and they want a person to pay right now, there should be a bit of uniqueness between the one that has paid and the one that is enjoying.
Wouldn't that end up being discrimination?
You get me?
For me, before I come to that, I have always had a problem with the implementation of the free SHS policy. Like you rightly said, I agree to some extent with the Otumfuo that it's going to cut down the costs of government. Like just the ended budget rate, and a whooping amount of 3.5 billion has been allocated to free SHS alone. And then since it was introduced in 2017, and then so 2017-2018 academic year, enrollment increased about 11%. So we have a total of about 4,790 new students going back to going to school. And then the reason I have a problem is we lack the infrastructures.
Exactly.
We have limited, infrastructures, dormitories, classrooms, proper measures could have been put in place. They could have, built, infrastructures and a whole lot before, implementing this free SHS. Of course, like you rightly said, who wouldn't want to enjoy free SHS? Because even now,
we all know it was a political move, so they needed to implement it as soon as possible before Ghanaians also start talking. You promised us free SHS. Where is it?
And you promise that free SHS. Why are you now saying that if you want to pay, you check the income of the parents, and if the person qualifies to pay for the award, the person can pay?
Now, over the years, over the years, when you take a look at the quality of education right now compared to before free SHS came into existence, you will see vast differences.
Yes.
We've had some of these universities, sacking students because they seem not to be serious.
Yeah.
CGPA is very low.
Yes, when you take a look at, the track system, you go to school for...
Is it the cost of the free SHS?
It is, to some extent.
Yes.
Are you sure?
Yes, because you go to school for, let's say, 1 month and you come and stay home for 3 months.
And even
you go to school for 3 months, then you come stay home for 3 months.
No, even with us, our time, we went to school the full academic year, half the time, especially the maths teacher, he tell you we've not even reached half of the syllabus. So imagine now. And even likening this to applying for schools abroad, we the Africans, you are allowed to apply for financial aid because we don't have the dollars to pay for the university, So when we apply for the financial aid, the school allocates some amount of money to us. So why not, organize a system where students who need financial aid are put in a system. So these people are the ones receiving free everything. Then those whose parents genuinely want to pay and can afford it can do that so that the cost is reduced, because we have community day schools now. And I remember some time back in our online news review, we were talking about how these schools, some of them have been abandoned because they are far away from town or from the place. But then the school, it's a school, it's going to be big, so it needs a very vast land, and that will be outskirts of the town. And if these monies are now, reduced, where the pressure is no longer on that money can be invested into starting dormitory facilities, teachers' bungalows and things like that, so that now the students can live on campus without having to commute anymore, because we started somewhere. It started as a day school. So I think, yes, we should try that. And the parents who want to enjoy free, even though they can pay, they should be considerate. Like they say, fingers are not equal. You may be earning 10 billion, somebody is earning 500 cedis. Oh, you want to share the same government? Don't do that.
I'd like to link it to your quote this morning. So you should share opinions on this one.
Yes.
And then also, there has been some concerns raised by Setekwe, the former finance minister, who said that he thinks that this policy should be limited to only day students. Yeah, so in as much as I side with the Otumfo, there will be some issue about fairness and equity. How then are you going to be able to identify who, like in quote, which students you think that their parents have enough to pay? Exactly. And even if, are they going to be a two-tier form of something that will create an uneven environment for, what we say, brilliant? So it will be like some class of, students, yes.
Well, also, I think that's finally they decide to pay. Wouldn't the fees be too expensive? Looking at the fact that there will be few people just paying the fees. And when it comes to the day students, as you said, I think they should rather enjoy the free SHS because they pay transportation, they go in and out. It's a lot of stress. Were you a day student?
Yes, I was a day student.
You can tell. So
I had Panadol every day in my bag.
You see, so if they are the ones enjoying the free SHS, that's fine. And then the borders will pay.
Well, the systems too can be structured in very different ways. Now, even in our time, those who were perceived as DBs, if let's say we are in the same class with, let's say, President Mahama's son, the teachers will give him preferential treatment and things like that. But the system, see how the school is able to identify those who didn't pay school fees and come and mention your name and sack you. I'm sure we can structure something down where it is only the headmaster, principals that know that, yes. So the families, the parents can come to the school. I mean, when you are going to SHS, you go with your parents. So yes, I'm here to apply for financial aid. I'm here to pay for the person. So it is only within the headmaster, principal, the head, instead of the teachers, because when the teachers know that, okay, Edna is a financial aid student, Edna will be given less, attention, as opposed to maybe John Mahama's son sitting here, Peter Nsia being the president and he can pay, So if it is structured that way, where it's a little bit anonymous, to prevent discrimination, we can move forward. And the students don't also need to be so vocal about it. Even their parents can decide not to tell them that, okay, I'm paying your fees, things like that.
At the end of the month, they just deduct from your parents' salary.
And so you, the parent, to make sure you don't owe, so that they'll not come and call your child that, hey, you owe school fees, come out and they'll lash you, So there are so many ways we can go about this. Like we said, two heads are better than one. They should sit down and have a very, very good structure put in for this movement, because it is straining the government. The double track system is not helping.
The food is so bad.
The food has been bad since we heard of what's the name? What was it called? Free something. School feeding program. The food has been bad since that time. And at that time,
really bad.
Our parents were paying. So imagine now.
It's very sad.
And then most of the heads now sell some of the food stuff. So what is left for we, the students, is so sad. Yeah.
Putting all those aside and then taking into consideration our educational system, currently I can say our educational system is very bad in terms of performance. Now, one may argue that since 2008 till now, when you check the WASSCE results, the performance, and you compare it to before it was introduced, it seems like the free SHS students are doing well. But then recently we just saw what the WAEC did, suspending
a lot of students. It just came, I think, last 2 months or something.
Examination board practices. And so we say that it should be reviewed and the proper measures should be put in place because it's bad. It's bad.
It's been really bad because even some of the current university students, their attitude towards academics is scary. Because I have a younger sister, she would tell me the lecturer would give an IA and these students, some of them would decide not to, and their excuse, if the infrastructure has been improved, more dormitories, more classrooms, and it can now accommodate the number of students, then there wouldn't be a need for the track system.
And for them to get these more classrooms and stuff, is it a short-term something? Because most schools do not even have lands to rebuild SS buildings, like school buildings.
Yes, that's why the community day schools came in. So some students can be transferred. So I live in Oyarifa and there's Oyarifa Senior High. What business do you have in, Wesley Girls? No, Ebri Girls is quite close. So if there's Oyarifa Senior High and your ward can go there, why not? If, there are good teachers, there's good infrastructure, you'll still get the same quality education.
So I didn't want to talk about this one, but before the implementation of these SHS, under the administration of the former president, now the president, they were putting measures in place. They were building schools. In fact, when you go to every region and even most of the outskirts of the town, like the towns, like you rightly said, they were building schools, in fact, huge ones, with the aim of, implementing, these free SHS. But when this government came, they neglected all these schools. They were left in the bushes, so, the chairs rotting and a whole lot. It's very sad because you cannot implement these free SHS, without expanding dormitories and all that. So overcrowding and all that. And sometimes I don't even blame the students that much because you need a conducive environment to learn. You are overcrowded in classrooms, you don't have places.
That's about the opioids we talked about earlier. And if the FDA hasn't approved it, why is it that the pharmaceutical companies are selling them? And where did all these substances come from? My guess is as good as yours. Thank you so much, Papa Kofi Wilson. Thank you for your comment. And this brings us to the end of the online news review with my co-host here. So it was very insightful. As our motivational quote said, two heads are better than one. I've forgotten the tree already. And so up next is, your segment. What are you bringing to us?
So it's all about resilience with women. So last time we had International Women's Day where we addressed challenges and then we progressed changes. So I have with me a beautiful guest. I think she's a past queen. And they're diving into the details of how women should be resilient in anxiety.
Okay, so businessman, what do you also have for us?
So before I go to that, these days the way women are empowering, you guys are empowering yourself. Should we get scared of something?
Scared?
Oh,
These
no.
days,
No. If you can't beat them, join them.
This
Learn.
bounce back to my motivation this morning. When you marry a lady or a woman, you have to make decisions with her. In as much as you're a man, you are the leader of the house, you need someone to make informed choices with. He gets me. Yeah, so we are here to better ourselves. Hey, we have to empower ourselves.
Yes. And the men too, you can empower yourselves, empower the young men.
Don't worry, we'll get to your turn. But for now, it is all about we the ladies.
Yes. So businessman, what do you also have for us?
So like I said from the onset, some transport transfers has been increased, and then also about T-bill. So I'll be talking to, that's what we will be doing on the business segment.
Okay.
So viewers team.
All right. Okay. So thank you so much. Up next is the business segment with Peter Nsia, and he'll be talking about these transport fares that has made my heart jump a little. So we will be right back.
3.88%. The 182-day bill declined by 204 basis points to 16.93%, and the 364-day bill eased by 101 basis points to 17.98%. However, the decline in rates appears to be slowing as the government works to cut down borrowing costs. In the upcoming auction, the Treasury plans to raise 6.14 billion Ghana cedis.
And that's all we have for you on the business segment. My name is Peter Nsia. Stay tuned for the rest of our programs.
Facebook and on YouTube at Clock TV. So there'll be numbers displayed on your screens. Do well to send in your WhatsApp comments and let's get interactive. This morning, our topic for discussion is the resilience of Ghanaian women. I repeat, the resilience of Ghanaian women. And I have some inspiring Ghanaian women I would like to honor. And the first is Esther Ifua Oklu. And she is a successful businesswoman and a philanthropist. She was a role model for Ghanaian women entrepreneurs and a pioneer in food processing in Ghana. Also, I have with me Tirosia Oko, a Pan-Africanist and artist. She is known for designing the Ghana flag and for her contributions to the art and sports, serving as the first female chairman of the Ghana Hockey Association. Also, I have Ama Ata Eidu. She is a celebrated author, a playwright, and activist. Let's explore themes of colonialism, gender, and social justice, making her a prominent voice in Ghanaian and African literature. I have with me Efua Sandalad. She is a playwright, a poet, a teacher, and children's author. She is considered as most of Ghanaian prominent figures in Ghana. I have an inspiring quote also about African women. As I said, today our topic for discussion is the resilience of Ghanaian women. So I would like to talk about a few. The first is, the African woman is the backbone of the family and the community. This is by Nelson Mandela. The African woman is the backbone of the family and community. Also, African women are not just victims, they are also agents of change. I like this quote. African women are not just victims, they are also agents of change. This is by Wangari Maathai. The last is from Desmond Tutu, and it says, the strength of African women is not just in their resilience, but in their ability to hold families and communities together. Like I said, today our discussion is the resilience of Ghanaian women, and by our song from Riala, it says that women are strong, as you could tell from the lyrics and everything. But I have with me a different music you would love to. Let's watch that also. We'll be right back. Welcome back from the commercial break, and as I said earlier, our topic for discussion this morning is the resilience of Ghanaian women, and I have here with me a beautiful guest. I'll give her a chance to introduce herself, but then let's dive right into the discussion. Good morning.
Good morning.
You look so beautiful. I like your smile.
Thank you very much. You look so elegant too.
Thank you. Brief profile about yourself.
Okay, my name is Yuri Tizala Edith, but popularly known as Yuri.
Okay.
A past contestant of Ghana's Most Beautiful, Upper West rep. That was in 2019.
That's nice.
Yes, I'm a nurse by profession.
Okay.
A beautician, and I also do production, creams productions, and yeah, I'm just a versatile woman. So
that's so nice.
Any aspect, any area that is cool for me, I dive into it.
And I guess you are the best person to have today for our discussion, since we are talking about the resilience of Ghanaian women. So when we talk about resilience, what does it mean?
Being resilient, that is, I feel that coming out of your shells,
okay,
and to, dive into certain areas that you think you were limiting yourself.
Okay.
So I always believe that every woman should strive, try to come out of your shells, no matter how many times you fall, rise up and keep going.
I guess you have some goals and aspirations in life, right?
Yeah.
So what pursued or what inspired you to pursue your goals in life?
Okay, so coming from a community that believe in women are limited into certain things, like it's like this aspect of this belongs to a man.
So a man should do it.
That is it. A woman shouldn't. So to the extent that where I come from,
yeah,
they had a belief that females shouldn't be educated.
Really?
You should rather be males, because they feel like after educating you, you end up in a man's house. To the extent that my mom fell as a victim, my mom and some of her sisters.
Okay.
So it was only a male from their sector that got educated. So coming from such community, I told myself that no, I need to make a change. I need to change that narrative.
Exactly.
Yes, so it inspired me. And also, I also felt that there was no any young lady there that it's like you're doing something so that the next generation will look up to you and then emulate your steps. So I was like, I can be that first lady to start that. So all these things came together to drive me into my passion.
Right, and then the first there was also education.
Yes,
because
please.
if you weren't educated enough, I'm not sure you would have been this vocal. You'd have a lot of resilience to overcome all your goals. Yeah. And I like that about you.
Thank you.
Right, so let's come to these female education. So right now, a lot of we ladies are being educated. Do you think it's an opportunity for us to be resilient, to empower ourselves too?
Yes, I think it's so much important to be. And I also believe that growing up, get role models. Yeah. And people who see us as role models, we should, in the process of role modeling, we should let them know some of the things they will face. That is the ups and downs.
Who is your role model?
My role model, I see Jacob here. That's my role model.
That's nice. But how did she inspire you?
Okay, growing up, I've always wanted to be an actress.
So are you now?
Somehow, not fully, but somehow.
Okay.
Yeah. So she inspired me in a way, but I also realized that she was educated.
Yeah.
And although she was educated, you could realize that she diverts into certain areas by learning skills and other things. So I also think that in role modeling, we should try as much as possible to let our young people educate themselves. Anything you would do to improve yourself as a lady, you should go in for And we shouldn't let them know that it's all rosy. No, we should let them know the ups and downs, the low moments, and all that.
So were you having some challenges? Well, can you tell me some?
A lot. I remember.
Is it in terms of your beauty pageant or entrepreneurial skills?
I think it cuts across.
Okay, so you can name some.
In terms of my beauty pageants, there were certain times I felt that I didn't do well with my performance. Yes, and it really got to me. So throughout that week, I was very down. Okay. And when it comes to my business, when I'm delivering, when I'm providing a client with services, and I feel that no, this is not what we wanted to achieve, it gets to me. Because I feel like the person trusts you, that is why she came to you. So throughout the week, sometimes I have days that I'll have to lie down and then reflect throughout the week. I'll learn, unlearn, and relearn, and tell myself, I did this, I was supposed to do, so next time I shouldn't do it. So, and I think having good energy around you also helps a lot. You get these good friends that will be like, oh, you can do it. This, that. So I had all those people around me. That's why when I fall, I'm able to rise and bounce back.
All right, so do not forget we are live on Facebook and on YouTube at Clock TV. We are streaming live, and also there are numbers displayed on your screens. Please send in your comments. We are talking about resilience of the Ghanaian women. We know that we are strong, we are resilient, we achieve a lot of things in the society, and when you educate a woman, you've educated the whole nation. So moving on, we'll be talking deeply about resilience also. So, hi, Queen. I'm so honored to have a queen with me, right? I never thought of it. So let's move on. I want to ask you if you've empowered some people after your beauty pageant.
Okay.
I know that when you're going in, you do have a theme or something like that. What was yours? Do you remember?
I think everybody has what always push you to go in for that pageantry. And mine was to, empower young ladies, promote made in Ghana goods. And so I have a cream that I sell. It's Yiri Shea Butter. That is my own way of promoting made in Ghana goods.
Okay.
And aside that, I also do apprenticeship.
You teach.
So yes, I try to get the young ladies, whether educated or not educated. I just want you to have a skill.
Is it free, the training?
Most of the times I do it freely.
Oh, that's nice. Yes. And how many people have you trained so far?
So far, I think I've done 3.
Oh, that's nice.
Yeah, so okay, let me say the third one is still with me. She's still going through the training.
Improving.
She's improving.
She's doing so well.
Yes, she's improving.
That's nice, because looking at the fact that what you are doing right now, you also go out and train other people. Yeah. And it's all about employment, and we women, we are empowering ourselves. Yes. I'm so proud of you.
Thank you.
So, yeah, you were talking about the theme or something like that.
Yes.
In the beauty pageant.
Yeah, so basically that was mine, to promote made in Ghana goods and also help the less privileged in the society and help young ladies to learn skills. So aside apprenticeship that I do and also selling my shea butter, I also have a foundation called Yiri Star Foundation.
Okay.
Yes, Yiri Star Foundation. That one basically stands to help the less privileged in my society. I'm from the Upper West region.
So do you have sponsors?
I won't call it sponsors. I just call it individuals that are also driven by my dream, driven by this kind of passion to help. So I usually do it yearly. So in a whole year, I can select a particular month to do that. So I try to do, I do sell it through social media. So I send it to WhatsApp and all that. Then you can, if you want to support in your own way, you can just make a little donation to save a life.
Oh, that's nice. Yeah. That's so inspiring. Looking at the fact that the young, especially maybe orphans, less privileged, people that are disabled, they really need help. And doing this, so God will bless you so much. All right, so let's move on. So how do you balance your personal skills and your professional life? You said you're a nurse, you're an entrepreneur, you're an actress, you're everything.
You know, right? It's not easy. It's not always easy to balance. But I think in balancing your personal life with your profession, you need to be disciplined, very disciplined.
Yeah.
And then you need to prioritize. You should know what comes first and follows. I love money so much. That doesn't mean that when business is calling and I have something doing that will improve my life, I'll have to forgo that and go for money. No.
Exactly.
So that's why I prioritize.
Okay.
So when it's time for me to go and improve myself, I do. When it's time for me to work and get my little coins, I do. And I also make time for myself, my beautiful baby self, so that I can always rejuvenate, pamper myself.
Yeah, soft life.
That is it. Because sometimes my clients walk in, they are like, hey, Yuri, where do you always get your energy from? All the time you're energetic, you're smiling. It's not easy. Then I tell them, I make time for myself. That is why I'm able to keep that energy, that fire burning in me all the time.
I would want you to do one thing for me. Look straight into your camera and say this to our fellow women about empowering ourselves.
Okay. For empowering, I believe in one, role modeling.
Okay.
The next thing is to be disciplined.
Okay.
And as we are role modeling, we should try and let them know that it isn't all rosy. There are low moments, ups and downs. So as a businesswoman, or even in your profession, you should know that there will always be this ups and downs. But one thing should always keep you going as a young lady who wants to achieve your dream. You should get positive energy all around you, positive energy that will keep encouraging you and making you to come out of your shells and shine till you get there. Yes, and I also believe that aside education, if you're educated, that doesn't necessarily mean that you can't learn skills. You should try to learn skills. You don't know where it will send you. Yeah. Aside that, I love women who go into politics. Let us try to, advise and push more for women to be in politics, because sometimes they help us in making some policies. Yeah. Look at our first ever vice president. Yes, we have a beautiful mother who is now a vice president. And when I heard the news, the fact that now sanitary pad is going to be free for all senior high school, I was so much impressed. And I told myself, we can have more women being in politics and helping us to make policy that will favor women, especially women that are sometimes abused in their homes and all that. And let us also support each other's business. Yeah. We can bring back the barter trade system, where I know you're doing very good at your job. I patronize you, you patronize me. We support each other. Where you think I'm falling, you can come in and support. That is what we can do to support each other. Yeah. Yes. Okay. And sometimes I feel that during mentorship and role modeling, if you're capable of supporting somebody financially to start a business, do it. If you know you are not financially strong like me, you can also do apprenticeship by teaching them your skills and all that. Yeah, I think if we come together as women and stop all the backbiting and support each other, we can always grow.
That's so nice about you. You know, during my SHS university, I had mates that used to sell in class. And I was like, me, I'm shy. How will I go around selling? What if no one buys? What am I going to say and convince someone to actually purchase my product? But right now that I am working, my dear, I've learned a skill, and then I can make my own hair, I can fix my own nails. Honestly, I do some small touches on my face, I can go out without spending so much. I think women need to go into these skills a lot. Yeah. And as much as we have our corporate works, we should do something just to get some small allowances from elsewhere. Yeah. And what advice will you give to young women who would like to get into this skill training?
Okay, so like I said earlier, it's good to have role models. One thing I always tell my students is that I always tell them that I'm not perfect. I also have my bad side.
Yeah.
Or yes, so when you are taking me as a role model, make sure that you take the good aspect of me.
Yeah.
And add it to whatever you have. Don't copy wrongly. I think that nowadays, we the young lady, that is what we are doing, and it's wrong. When we see somebody as a role model, we like everything about her, whether it's good, whether it's bad.
Don't you think it's the social media?
Yes, I think so. I think so.
Because whatever you bring out to us, that is what we also see, and then we go to it. So looking at the fact that we ladies now are into body
enhancement and
exactly, you see, that is what we ladies are into right now. And then most of our young women are now trading their self to get money to enhance themselves. It is perfectly fine, especially when you have low confidence in yourself. But I think some people copy wrongly.
Yes, that's what I was just saying. So like I said, you should, just look at the good aspects of the person. All right, she's looking good, she's looking all rosy and all. But have you sat down to ask yourself how she managed to make herself beautiful and all that? So that is the aspect I want we young ladies to always emulate. We shouldn't just copy wrongly. You should be moved by her hard working. You should be moved by her resilience. You should be moved by the fact that she never gives her achievements. Let us focus our mind there. And we should just focus our minds there and forget about. It's important to look good, but when the right time comes, you will look good. But for now that you're still struggling to climb the ladder, you should just look at that aspect.
Exactly. I'm so honored, and then I like what you are saying, but then I think that our social media should also do better. Looking at the fact that we ladies, we are now copying everything we see on social media. So if there are enough skill training there to empower ourselves, if there are enough education there positively to impact like something positive into our lives, it will be very, very good. And then it will make us creative. And when you are jealous of someone's skill, that is when you try hard to do the same. But when you are jealous of someone's skill that you don't even know where it came from. We're seeing all the rosy sides of our celebrities or our influencers, and we want to get same without even knowing their start point, without knowing where they came from. I think we should do better.
I think we shouldn't be jealous about I feel that don't be jealous about somebody's achievements. Just learn, follow her footsteps. You can approach her. I've done that several times.
Don't you think it's social media pressure?
Sometimes.
I mean, you're a lady. I am also. So what are you having that I can't get?
So I feel that my achievements, you shouldn't be jealous of my achievements. You should rather maybe approach me. Hello, how did you do it? I really admire you. I wish you could guide me. So if the person can guide you to also achieve. But when you are jealous of the person, that is when you may end up living certain lifestyle you have never dreamt of.
So it's all about guidance. Just approach the person.
That is it.
And the person should let you know how this or that.
That is it.
Okay, so they've been lying to us.
Oh, my. And I also say, sometimes I do say that when in the process of mentoring and then role modeling, let's share our story. Don't fake it. Let them know the difficulties. Let them know what you really passed through. All the ups and downs before finally you are where you are. Don't make it look as if it was all okay. Let them know the true story.
Work out with millions of CDs.
You know, right?
So if you want to do
do that.
It doesn't work that way.
Never.
It never works that way.
Yes.
And then most of our celebrities are having 2 or more businesses that they do, and then it gives them incomes from all these places. So we have to do better. And then, as I said earlier, our social medias should also empower us positively so that we don't go wayward. Thank you so much for honoring my invitation. Last words to my people.
Okay, I would say a very big thank you to you guys for giving me this opportunity, Glove TV, right? Yeah. For giving me this opportunity. And I also want to say a very big thank you to all my family and loved ones. Everybody who contributed to who Yuri is now. I always say that I've not gotten to where I want to be.
You will get
but
there.
For now, I'm so much grateful to God for how far He's brought me. Because looking at where I come from, my dear, if somebody had told me that today I'll be sitting here, I would tell that person it's a lie.
It's the doing of the Lord.
You know, right? So I want to say a very big thank you to all my lovely family and loved ones. Those who, your words of encouragement, the fact that you approach me and tell me, Yuri, you can do this. Yeah. The fact that you walk to me and say, Yuri, I admire you so much. Those words keeps me going. And I just want to say thank you so much. Thank you for always believing in me. To all my friends, thank you so much. And please, when Yuri Star Foundation is knocking at your doorstep.
You should give details in case someone watching us would want to sponsor.
Okay.
Yeah.
So like I said earlier, Yuri Star Foundation stands to help the less privileged and the vulnerable in our society, especially from the North Upper West region.
Your social media handle?
It is Yuri_Beauty Parlor and Yuri GMB19. So please, when we are knocking at your doorsteps, don't relax. Try and come out and support us, because know very well that even your one cedi goes a very long way to save somebody's life.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. And that's all I have for you on today's lifestyle segment. If there's one advice I got from our beautiful queen sitting right beside me, it is all about women empowerment and guidance, and we should do well, we should do better. We shouldn't be jealous of our fellow women, but instead we should ask them how and which way they did it. Let's go our short review. Let's go for a short commercial break. We'll be right back. Up next is the birthday segment.
I heard today was your birthday. Today was your birthday. I heard today was your birthday. I heard today was your birthday.
Welcome back, and this is the birthday segment. I'll allow my queen to read the birthday segment for us. Please.
Yes, sir.
Okay, so it will come soon.
Okay. Happy birthday advance to Hafisa Esuman, level 100 political science student of UEW. Tell her she shouldn't base her decision on advice of those who don't have to deal with the results. From her future children and husband Stephen.
That's so
nice. Okay. Happy 22nd birthday, Vivian. Wishing you joy, success, and endless blessings on your special day. May this year be your best yet. Enjoy your day. From Richard and Hostel Reserved Ghana team. Oh, lucky you. Ignatius Mensa Bosomfe. Hey, do celebrate your birthday in God's grace. Happy birthday from your parents, Mr. Ignatius and Auntie Raymond. Auntie Romay, sorry. We as the parent wish you a happy birthday and enjoy the blessings from the Almighty God.
Okay, let me take the last one.
Okay.
Right, this is from your children to Mame Sewa, and it says, happy birthday, Mame Sewa. May you live long with good health to witness the goodness of the Lord. We love you. Right, okay. Do you have anyone celebrating birthdays?
Yes.
Even if it's this week?
Today, even today is his birthday.
Oh, then wish the
a
person.
father, a friend, and yeah. Happy birthday, Raymond. God bless you, and I pray that God lifts you.
Amen.
And may your family continue to grow in God's grace.
Amen.
From you, your daughter.
Amen and amen. And that's all I have for you on today's business birthday segment. Why do I keep fumbling? Maybe I am so happy about seeing our queen. But then let's move on to the main segment with Yaira Awuno. Stay tuned.
that will be displayed on your screen, and when the phone lines are opened, I will do well to also alert you. You can also send in your comments to our Facebook and YouTube live stream to join in the conversation. Today is going to be a bit of a historical conversation, so yes, do stay tuned. Now, my guest here, he's in the person of Mr. Kofi Atta-Krakosi, and he is the Deputy Director in charge of Domestic Marketing at the Ghana Tourism Authority. Now, his profile here, like I said, is pretty long, but I will read it to you so you know just how learned he is, just how educated he is. So, Mr. Kofi Atta-Krakosi is the Deputy Director in charge of Domestic Marketing at the Ghana Tourism Authority, and he is a Pan-Africanist, writer, cultural artist, public relations, and marketing practitioner. He was appointed as the Board Secretary to the Board of Directors on the Ghana Tourism Authority from 2010 to 2014. Then he also served as a special assistant to the then late CEO of the authority, Mr. Charles Osei-Bonsu, from 2014 to 2017. He served as a Deputy Head of Corporate Affairs from January 2018 to January 2024 before being appointed into his new portfolio. Mr. Kosi is a Pan-Africanist and nationalist, and he has also served on various tourism committees, programs, and activities. He has also been honored with several awards, such as the first one being the World Peace Ambassador, and this is the International Parliament for Safety, Peace and Justice, United Nations African Chapter, Africa Early Childhood Education Awards, an honorary award, then Ghana Event Staffers Award, then Africa Young Talent Achievers Award 2023, Africa Corporate Man of the Year, Convergence of Youth African Leaders Awards 2023, Young Tourism Icon of the Year Award, then GTA Staff Dinner and Awards, GTA Staff Dinner and Awards, Best Performing Staff Corporate Affairs Department 2023, Akwaaba Festival 2024 Honorary Award. Then he's also served as a judge for major beauty pageants across the country, and considering we had a beauty queen just here on the lifestyle segment, so these include Miss Culture Ghana, Miss Tourism Ghana, Miss Golden Stool. Then we have Mr. and Miss Akwaaba for GH Media School, Face of CAF University College, and Miss Akwaaba 2023 CJ Multimedia. That is a very rich CV. Good morning, and thank you so much for joining us here.
Good morning, Obafa Yayira. I really appreciate something about this setting, trust me. Being a tourism person, you would expect me to appreciate the entire setting. We are in the Ghana month, yes. And let me say that Clock TV has done something that at least some of us within the tourism industry can say that yes,
yes, thank you so much. Special shout outs go to our technical team. They put this beautiful set together, so yes, kudos to you all. We know what you've been through. Yes, so I mean, we've read your CV already, but can you give us a little info about yourself? We've seen all you've done, yes, all the awards, but let's know about you.
Okay, so by the grace of God, I believe that Africa has gotten to a point where we need to empower our youth. Our young people are very knowledgeable. They have a lot to offer to the rest of the world, and it is time for us as a people to appreciate that. So for me, of course, I have certain levels of life. Being a Pan-Africanist, I started learning from those who have passed, right, from our forebears, people who I started learning from those principles way back on campus at Legon. Yes. So I started learning. I actually read African philosophy, Professor Kwame Gyekye and co. Right. So I started learning from the African philosophy. That is what shaped my identity, my understanding of Pan-Africanism. So I read more about religious Pan-Africanism. There was a lot that I got to learn right from school, right from Legon. So it shaped my understanding my thinking. From there, then I moved into being a nationalist, where you think more of a nationalist identity, where anything that I do has a linkage with our nation as a country, right? I have moved through certain stages of life, of course, like you mentioned early on. It shaped me wanting to do. My first degree was in philosophy, right? Now, philosophy has a way of shaping your ideology. So it shaped me from there. Then I thought it wise also to at least move on to read a little bit more. So I read a master's in PR at GIJ, Unimac GI. Then from there, it also propelled me wanting to broaden my horizon. So I got to also read MBA in marketing from the Methodist University. So with these two, I decided to also make a jump into the other world, where I ventured into South Africa and then also had a certificate in hospitality and tourism. That obviously blends me with the tourism sector. PR marketing and the tourism and hospitality certificate, of course, makes me wanting to at least impact more to society, because you know PR and marketing pushes you out there. Yes. So in all that I've done, by the grace of God, an impact. It's always been impacting to society. What I have gained from all others, my forebears, the leaders that I've worked with. And also, one thing is that working with the board of directors was a challenge. Yeah, as a young man, at that age, I think I was around 25, 26 years. Yes. So at that point, it shaped me. I got to learn a lot from members of the board. Yeah. So these are some of the things that I would say have propelled me till now.
Okay. And from the looks of things, I think we have our next Kwame Nkrumah in the building. Anyway, so let's get quickly into the conversation. So we're talking about our landmarks here. And I mean, talking about landmarks or our very, very important bits of history, we can't talk about them without speaking about our forts and castles, you know, from the colonial era. So I think we can just start off our conversation with something around, you know, colonial rule. And I'm sure being a panelist, you may be very averse to it. Our forts and castles, what are some of the impacts or what were the roles they played back in the day and even now? Okay.
Thank you very much. Let me kindly and respectfully give a big greetings to our Honorable Minister for Tourism, Honorable Ablaji Fagomashi, and also our Chief Executive, Mr. Mamiefwa Hojato, and our 3 deputy CEOs. One thing I wish to make it known is that if you look at our trajectory as a country, we moved from one stage to the other. The British colonial era started in 1844 to 1957 when we gained independence. But of course, we do recall when the Portuguese arrival in 1842. Don't forget one name that comes to mind, Diego de Azambuja.
Yes, Diego
so he, for example, built the Elmina Castle. Why did he build it? It is one of the oldest sub-Saharan buildings in Africa. He built it as a trading port. Right. Now, in as much as that came in force as a trading port, what happened was that you would realize that they started also being involved in various aspects of human trading, which of course brought about the slavery. Right. So if you look at the trajectory of events and activities that happened, we would be able to say that we were unfortunate, right, with the British colonial rule, and then to the Portuguese in 1842, which of course also got us where we are today. But let me also draw some lines where we look at the Portuguese exploitation of Ghana's gold, right? He built it, of course, for them to be able to exploit our gold. As they were doing that, of course, they realized that they could also endanger into various other aspects of the trade, which of course brought about the human aspect of it. But of course, one thing I want to draw lines with is that there was an impact of the colonial era. One, economic exploitation. They exploited our economy in terms of our gold, our timber, our minerals, the ores and all those things. And then also, that is it. Also, we had what we call cultural suppression, right? You would realize that before the advent of they coming into force, we had our own cultures, our language, our identity as a people. Of course, somebody said what they brought us the Bible, and then you get, by the time we open our eyes, they had gone with what was meant for us, right? So there was what we call cultural suppression. Our traditional Ghanaian cultures were suppressed, and they replaced it with European cultures. And all these things, as they replaced it, there were some positives, which of course we wouldn't run away from it. And we had infrastructure development. We had some roads, we had railways, right? We had some colonial buildings that up now are still within the confines of our land. Education and healthcare, of course. Education and healthcare, that cannot be underplayed. They build a lot of educational facilities across the length and breadth of the country. Right. In as much as they built these things, it helped us as a country also to be able to focus more on building our various regions, our various economies. But the negatives of it, we would say that we became Western styled. But in recent times, the Heritage Month is also pulling us up. For some time now, we have been able to bring up to speed the fact that we as a people know that this is where we are coming from and this is where we are going to. The legacy of colonialism, of course, there was dependence on primary commodities, right? So these commodities, we were very reliant on cocoa and also our gold. So reliant on it. In as much as that be the case also, there was cultural identity crisis. Our culture as a people, of course, like I mentioned early on, was taken away from us. Economic underdevelopment, Ghana's economic growth was hindered by the colonial legacy. Why would I say this? Our economy, of course, was based on what they do within the Western world. And with that, we also had to depend on them. There was over-reliance and dependence on their economy. So if their economy crashes, it means ours also.
I think it even translates now to our import and export behaviors. We still tend to depend on the West for a whole lot of things that we should be, by now, we should be able to produce ourselves, because we've had factories, put together by our first president and things like that. But these factories, most of them are falling apart, and they are probably they should have been able to do the same things that the Western cultures are also doing. But we will come to that conversation. But for now, I think you would have to take us back. A lot of us, probably after school, have not even heard of Elmina Castle anymore. And we would want to know some of these historical buildings. And, I think Elmina has its own name, because I think Cape Coast Castle which one is the Christianborg Castle?
The Osu
Castle. I know Cape Coast Castle also has its own name, or it used to have one of these Christian something. If you can give us a little refresher on that as well, and where to find some of these less popular forts and castles that people can also, visit. At least after watching this, we should get more tourists coming to those sites.
So the modus operandi is for us to be able to get more people visiting our various forts and castles. A brief background: the forts and castles of Ghana are within the remit of the Ghana Museums and Monuments Board. Right. They are also in charge of the National Museum. We have a number of forts dotted across the country. Let me take the central region, right? The central region, for example, we have the Cape Coast Castle, right? That is in Cape Coast, right? Then in Elmina, we have the Elmina Castle, right? And don't forget also that the British had to build what we call Fort St. Jago, right? That is also in Elmina. That was used as a conduit to protect the Elmina
Okay.
So Diego de Azambuja built that to be able to protect the Elmina Castle. Do you get it?
Okay.
Yes. And then also we have Fort. That one is in Abanje, near Comante.
Okay.
Do you get it? So there are lesser known forts and castles that also were involved in trading activities. These trading activities, of course, the gold, the minerals, the cocoa, and all those things. As they were trading in that, what happened was that they had to also replace it with also the human,
resource. So forts and castles only limited to the coastal areas in Ghana, or we have some inside the more forest areas also?
Good. So the forts and castles, the reason why most of them are within the coastal areas, the British, the Portuguese, they usually used the ports. Okay. At that time, the reason why you would realize that these forts were dotted across the coastal regions, because at the time there were no, it was very difficult to have these planes moving. So they used the ships. It was the ships that were docking. So when they dock, they are able to do whatever they need to do as quick as possible. Right. So they were not really, most of them were not really in the hinterland. Okay. But of course, there were some of them that were also inside. For example, if you look at the western region, around the Deskov, around Deskov, we had Fort Metalcross.
Okay.
Right. In Deskov, there was Fort Metalcross, which of course was also a fort that was also involved in the slave trade movement. In Sekondi, there was Fort Sekondi.
Okay.
A lot of people would be wondering, so are these forts really there? Yes, they are there. They are there. And they are being managed by the Ghana Museums and Monuments Board.
Okay.
Right.
So these are also tourist sites?
They are also tourist sites. Yes.
Okay.
They are also tourist sites that people can also visit. Once you visit these tourist sites, you get to have a lot of history about these. And then still in the western region, we have Fort Commander.
Okay.
Yes, Fort Commander. So in the western region, we have Fort Metalcross, Fort Sekondi, and then Fort Commander, in Commander. Right. Okay. Then let's go to the Volta region. In the Volta region, we have Fort Pisenstein in Keita. Do you get it? You see, Keita also had some seafronts.
Yes.
Right. So Fort Pisenstein was also one place that they had to perpetrate most of their activities in terms of trading, and then both human and also gold. In the eastern region, there was a fort there.
Okay.
Fort Friedensburg.
Okay.
Right. It is in Amanokro near Larabanga.
Okay.
Right.
There's a Larabanga in the eastern region.
In the eastern region, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, in the eastern region. So that place took its name from. Don't forget that the slave route moves from the north. Okay. Yes. I'll give you, so its movement from the north, you would realize that the slaves moved from the north through to the Ashanti region, then they went to Asin Manso, Asin Praso. Okay. Right. That is how come the Ghana Tourism Authority and the Ministry of Tourism, Culture and Creative Arts, each year we celebrate what we call Emancipation Day celebrations. Okay. Yes. Celebrations at the Salaga Slave Market in the north, in the northern region. Then we come down, right, we move down to Asin Manso, Asin Praso, where they had their last bath. Okay. Right. Before they moved down to Cape Coast and Elmina to be shipped out. Okay. Yes.
So when are these celebrations held?
Good. Emancipation the 3rd, 21st, from 21st to the 1st of August. Okay. Each year is Emancipation Day celebrations. Oh, okay. Yes. So you may, our listeners should kindly and respectfully note that 1st of August each year is Emancipation Day. And on that day, we have the Emancipation Declaration, where the whole world goes to understand and take it to the meaning that we liberated ourselves from being enslaved. Right. So on that note, let me say that within that same sphere, you are able to say that, okay, was that the reason why the Year of Return came to fruition? So the year of return was based on 400 years since the first slave ship moved from Jamestown in Ghana to Jamestown in Virginia. You know, we have Jamestown here.
Yes.
At Jamestown, Accra area. Then there's also Jamestown in USA, Virginia.
Oh.
Yeah. So the Jamestown here has a correlation with the Jamestown in Virginia.
Wow.
That is how come the first slave ship moved from here to Jamestown in Virginia.
Okay.
That brought about the year of return. It was actually a legislation that went into the US Parliament. It was accepted. So 400 years, of course, there was the commemoration for us to celebrate 400 years of Africans being enslaved.
Wow.
We are not done.
No, not at all.
The UNESCO World Heritage Site, there are most of these forts and castles that have been named as UNESCO World Heritage Site. Like, one is Elmina Castle. 2, Cape Coast Castle. 3, we have Fort St. John and Fort Amsterdam. These are recognized by UNESCO. In recent times, UNESCO has also given credence to international cultural heritage. Kente is also now a UNESCO World Heritage.
Okay.
Right, it is recognized by UNESCO. We are trying to push high life. Because high life originated from Ghana.
Yeah.
So we are trying to push high life to also be part of the UNESCO World Heritage things that they've approved for.
Wow, this is a very multifaceted conversation because we've moved from the more on the lesser known forts and castles to UNESCO World Heritage. Wow, this is very informative, and I hope we are taking notes. So please do send in your questions. Anything you missed in your social studies class, please send your questions here. Our guest will do well to answer your questions. So Usher Fort, and there's another one. I keep forgetting the other one.
James Fort.
Yes, James Fort.
Yeah.
At least according to history, it became a prison. Was it?
Yeah.
Well, has it always been a prison?
It was more or less a trading port.
Okay.
Good. So it was a trading port that they were, that is why James Fort are also around the coastal areas. So all the forts and castles were meant as trading ports, but they turned it into a slave port where they were auctioning and then buying slaves and all that. But for now, like we all know, it's a tourist site where, of course, our tourists and people of African descent, our diasporans, and even ourselves as indigenes visit the place and also get more information about those places, right? I think that notwithstanding, we have also the Osu castle, the Principal Castle, that also formed part of areas, castles that were also used as trading and slavery ports.
So if I'm getting you right, all the forts and castles were for trading. So, but I think somewhere in history we learned that some of them were also more of a housing setting for these Europeans. How true is that?
Good. So this is how it is. They were settling there, right? In as much as they were settling there, they needed to also do something more. So the trading came in, right? So as the trading came in, then also the slavery also came in at some point in time. So of course, they built it, they deceived us that it was a place that they were going to settle. Do you get it?
Yeah.
Yeah. So if somebody wants to deceive you, the person will tell you, oh, me see, I built this just to settle and have my time and all that. But in reality, at the back of their mind, they knew what they wanted to do.
Motives.
There was an ulterior motive that they had, and that to do trading of our gold, our minerals, and then also our cocoa. Then also they added the slavery. Okay.
So being in the tourism industry, can you speak to the state of these, tourist sites in present day Ghana?
Good, thank you. This is a very good question. Let me say that you do recall that when I was making some submissions, I noted that the forts and castles are within the remit of the Ghana Museums and Monuments Board. They are mandated by law to take note and take care of these forts and castles.
Okay.
And the state of these forts and castles, of course, sometime last year, there was a communique from the Ministry of Tourism, Arts and Culture. You know, in recent times, there had been renovation of various tourist sites and attractions. Of course, our own Kwame Nkrumah Memorial Park is a perfect example. The Menchia Palace Museum is also an example. There was a grant from the World Bank, which of course gave us the support to be able to look at these forts and castles, these tourist sites, right, which also include the forts and castles, right. So as I'm speaking with you, the Ghana Museums and Monuments Board is also taking the necessary steps to be able to look at these forts and castles and then see how we can be able to put them in the right shapes. Some have already started, right, but others are also yet to go on. Because one thing is that it is very important to preserve the architecture.
Okay.
Yes, we call something architectural tourism.
Yeah.
Do you get it? If you change the entire design, it means you are killing.
Yes, it loses.
It loses its significance.
Yeah.
That's it. It will lose the significance that it's supposed to have. So a lot is being done to make sure that we preserve originality. Its originality is key to making sure that our tourists appreciate that this is a World UNESCO Heritage Site.
Okay. So are there some of these tourist sites or these forts and castles out there that are abandoned and dilapidated?
Yeah, some have been like left to lose its quality. Yeah, I must be frank with you. Over the years, so it brings me back to our maintenance culture as a people, right? So some of these forts and castles, of course, one way or the other, have dilapidated. But the Ministry of Tourism, Culture and Creative Arts is making all efforts to at least rejuvenate them, right? For them to come back to, for example, Fort Presenstein in Keita. And that, for example, I can say that has lost a bit of what it was, right? Had there been enough maintenance, right, we would have been able to keep it in that way that we can all say that, oh, this is in a good, at least in a bit of a good light. So, but it's not. Okay.
Yeah. So could that be attributed to the fact that these forts and castles are not as popular as the Elmina and Cape Coast castles?
That I may not say that, but I think focus have been placed more on those that are known, like Elmina, Cape Coast Castle, right, Fort Amsterdam, and some others. Yeah.
Honestly speaking, most of the forts and castles you mentioned were not even in our textbooks.
Absolutely.
Yes.
Yeah.
So could that be the reason? Because as students, we only knew of the very popular ones. That's and true. Had the chance to visit those, but not the lesser known ones. So could Absolutely. That be the reason why? Because I'm sure if attention was given to those two, a lot of tourist attraction would also be geared towards them.
That's true. I appreciate this conversation, but in as much as that be the case, like I mentioned earlier on, the ministry is trying to make sure that some of these forts and castles are also brought to fruition so that we can have the needed touristic advantages that we can have from it. Okay. Because it creates a lot of revenue. It creates a lot of jobs. When you go to the Cape Coast Castle, look at the number of artisans that are there. All these artisans have something to at least salivate from, right? The income, there is what we call redistribution of income, right? And then also it creates revenue, foreign exchange. Look at the numbers that go there. So all these places, the James Fort, the Usher Fort, the Osu Cape Coast Castle, right? All these places, of course. So once most of these untapped or lesser known forts are also rejuvenated, renovated, or refurbished, it will help also to bring them to that pedestal that we have a lot of tourists also going there.
So assuming these lesser known ones are now refurbished and everything ready for tourism, what are some of the measures that the Ministry of Tourism will put in place to get people to come visit these and then start a revenue generation bit?
Good. This is good. A very good question. One thing that the ministry is very particular about is, one, the maintenance culture, right? So the maintenance culture is very key to us, Right. When Kwame Nkrumah Memorial Park and other tourist sites like Tafi Atome, Kakum National Park, all these places, for example, when they were refurbished and renovated, we have put in place a very strict maintenance culture to ensure that these places are kept well and then they don't dilapidate anymore. Right. So once anytime when your hands are on it, it helps to also preserve right, and conserve its quality. So that is one thing that we are very mindful about. Secondly, one thing also is that to get experienced tour guides, right? You know, when you have experienced tour guides, anytime when even the fort is having a problem, when these lesser known forts are having issues, they are able quickly to report to management because they experience. They know that, no, this thing it was not supposed to be so, right? And then also the kind of information that they give to the tourists. Right, it is also very key to us. And then also one thing also is to make sure that professionalism within the forts and castles that are renovated, of course, will be at that level. One thing also is that to make sure that at least using maintenance culture, we are able to also push money in there. Because when you put money in there, you get it back. Right. So in renovation of it, in refurbishment, and making sure that the maintenance is also at that level. So all these things, of course, will be taken into consideration by the Ministry of Tourism, Culture and Creative Arts, and also the Ghana Tourism Authority and all other agencies.
Yes. Speaking of your tour guides, considering the fact that our history seems, I think the best term would be in Chi, Yasoneso. Because from primary school to JHS, the history we learned versus what we learned in SHS into the university, we realized that there was a whole lot we didn't know. So now these lesser known forts and castles with so much rich history, how does your industry intend to grab all these stories to be able to give to these tour guides to educate some of us?
Thank you. This is a very good question. You would understand why I say that. Recently, my chief executive and the deputy CEO, my chief Mrs. Mami Fwajato, and also our deputy CEO, Abiku Agri Santana, were at a James Fort, and an Osha Fort. Right. And there is a presupposed tour guide who, unfortunately, gives some information to tourists. And these information are not right information.
So there's even misinformation already
ongoing. Right. And it doesn't cut across. No. Because we have tour guides association. And this association are recognized body. We call them tour guide. Right. It is a recognized body and they ensure that their members are trained. The Ghana Tourism Authority also ensures that we undertake the necessary training for them to have the needed information that they would need to be able to undertake a guided tour. We have a side guide, we have a tour guide, we have a coach guide. The side guide is at the tourist side, right? For example, when you go to Kwame Nkrumah Park, you will have the side guide there. When you go to, when you are on a tour, you would have a tour guide who will take you around. The coach guide only stays in the coach, in the car, in the bus. Right. So he tells you the various spots where you are going to. Do you understand? So the side guide is at the site, and then the tour guide takes you around. Do you get it? So all these people, of course, there is enough training that we are giving to them as an authority and also the ministry. And then apart from the training, what we are doing is to maintain their professionalism. Right. So what happened just about 2 weeks ago that this issue broke up. It was brokered by Wadi Maya, right, the influencer, the social media influencer, and it came to our notice. So quickly, our chief executive had to quickly pull in with our deputy CEO to make sure that the right things are done. So from there, they came even to the Black Star Square. They went to the Osu Castle and some other areas to make sure that tour guides, side guides, and coach guides give the needed information to tourists. So on that note, let me say that we are working assiduously on some of these things to make sure that we give the needed information, and then also with the lesser known forts and castles, making sure that these informations are also embedded in their training, are embedded in whatever communication that they pull out there.
Okay.
As a matter of fact, when the issue broke up, the first point of call was to engage the Tour Guides Association. The president will tell you, Mr. Bani Bensu. I was one of the first people who had to call him and then make him aware that this misinformation must not go on, and they need to make sure that their people are professionals, making sure that the tourists get the needed information.
Still on that, considering the fact that you said these tour guides will be trained and then they will teach us, there are certain people who were born in Accra, maybe Medina, they're going to die there. Aside education they gain, they're not going to have access to this bit of information. What is the tourism ministry and authority also doing about getting that information that will be given to the tour guides into our education or into our academics, so that even if I did not get to see Fort Prisenstein, I should know about it?
Good, thank you. So we have a private sector body, right? And the private sector body, we call them the Ghana Tourism Federation. And under the Ghana Tourism Federation, we have various private sector bodies which are attached to the tourism industry. We call one Kids in Tourism. We have also the Tourism Society of Ghana. These two bodies are always liaise with the various schools. So they are infiltrate into GES, they deal with the Ghana Education Service, and they infiltrate into the various schools to be able to make sure that information trickles down at the school levels. But what we are doing is to get what we call policy with the GES to push some of these information into the curriculum. So all the conversations have been geared towards making sure that we get. But before we get that into that, what we have done is the Kids in Tourism and the Tourism Society of Ghana. They have tourism clubs in the various schools. In Greater Accra, they have a number of the schools that have tourism clubs, and then even in almost all the regions. One thing is that at all the regions of Ghana, we have the Ghana Tourism Authority regional offices. We have regional offices in all the regions. So what happens is this: all the regions educates the various indigenes for them to know the various forts and castles in the regions. As they are being educated, what happens is that it helps to be able to also push information down, like the Kids in Tourism and the Tourism Society of Ghana.
I have a very, very controversial question, but right before I ask, we will go on a quick break. When we come back, we'll continue the conversation. Please do well to send in your comments and questions, and when the phone lines are opened, He is educating us on our landmarks here. So back to the conversation. We were talking about history, being passed down to the kids. And there are allegations that certain political parties are trying to erase certain legacies of some of our past heroes. So in situations like that, how will your ministry or the authority be able to push back? Because maybe there are certain key bits of information that we don't have in our books, but you want to bring it and then there is some sort of friction. Okay.
What we do as an authority and the Ministry of Tourism, Culture and Creative Arts, we have about 12 to 14 agencies under the ministry. Okay. We have the National Commission on Culture, we have the National Folklore Board, the National Ghana Museums and Monuments Board, the National Film Authority, and a number of agencies under the ministry. So usually, with what happens is that a number of these agencies will come together, right, to make sure that the right things are put in place. Now, in working out this, we are always mindful of the fact that GES is a key collaborator. So we collaborate with the GES, right, the Ghana Education Service, just to make sure that information trickles down. Sometime last 2 years, we engaged with the Ghana Education Service. Is it 2 years or 3 years ago? Yeah, we engaged with the Ghana Education Service to have that collaboration. Right, and the collaboration, of course, has been on and on. Of course, we've always had that interministerial committees that have been joining together. Yeah. So all these is something that we don't throw it to the grounds, but we take it, we push gradually. It's a gradual process. It's a gradual process where we, as an authority and the ministry, under the umbrella Ministry of Tourism, Culture and Creative Arts, are also able to work with the Ministry of Education and the Ghana Education Service just to make sure that the various stakeholders, right, the dialogues that we have are all incorporated into one document, and that document, of course, submitted to the Ghana Education Service, just to make sure that our history is not distorted. Any distortion to our history, of course, means that, like Marcus Mosiah Garvey would say, a people without knowledge of their past history do not have a history, right? Do not have a past. If you don't have a history, then you don't have a past, right? So Marcus Garvey teaches us a lot that it is very important that we do not lose focus of our history, which embodies our past. It also embodies our soul and spirit as a people. Yeah. So once we lose it, we have lost ourselves as a people. So
in a situation where we have news, so I don't know how true it is though, that Kwame Nkrumah's books a lot of his books have been banned, or it's been made so rare that, like, being a Pan-Africanist or being a nationalist, you want to emulate the works of Nkrumah or just even pick his ideas, you cannot access his books. Is the Ministry of Tourism and the authority the one supposed to decide what bit of history is necessary and which one is not? And if yes, what are some of the bits of history you would regard as, appropriate or necessary for the oncoming generations?
Okay, thank you. The ministry also has a part to play when it comes to making sure that our history is not distorted. The reason why Kwame Nkrumah Memorial Park is a tourist site, right? So Kwame Nkrumah Memorial Park is a tourist site under the Ministry of Tourism, Arts, Culture and Creative Arts. It has its own management, right? So the renovation of the park came with all its antecedents. For example, preservation of his books. His books have also been preserved there. All that is very key and very important, right? The history that has to do with Nkrumah and all that. My dear brother, the director of the Memorial Park, Edward Kwao, will tell you that it will be unacceptable to change the history that has to do with Nkrumah, right? Yeah, as a Pan-Africanist, as a nationalist, you cannot be able to change that history, that part of it. So it's very difficult that anybody would say, oh, we have to be able to put this out and we leave, hold on to this or this. No. That history must be there. Once it should be there, it must be there.
Okay.
And as a foremost Pan-Africanist like Nkrumah, his legacies of, we are all aware of what exactly this man contributed to our country. So for me, NACA
regulates what should be regulates what should be in the books, and can the truth be told to our kids or who are our future, I think. So it seems this is not just, I think it's a nationwide problem.